And coming up halftime, Len Berman and crew back at our studios in New York. A look at what is going on in an action-packed day around the NFL. That'll be NFL 83. Upcoming, we have 1:50 remaining in this first half. Dan Reeves, Steve DeBerg at his side. Denver Broncos leading the Cleveland Browns 14-3. 12th play of the drive upcoming. Sight with the 3rd and 10 at the Denver 17. Long count. Sight going end zone and picked off. This time Steve Foley does pick it off. Intended for Willis Adams. So that's number 5 on the season in the intercept department for Steve Foley.
They say he adds a new dimension to their secondary. You can see why. He's an old veteran that knows when a certain play is going to be called. He usually finds a way to get himself in between the thrower and the receiver. He's done it twice on this drive. The second one he held on to. They've got it back at the 20.
So Brian Sight, who coming in had only been intercepted one time his last 102 throws, and Zippo for the last 3 games picked off for the 2nd time this first half. Steve Foley, who just intercepted Brian Sight, and the Browns have coughed it up twice. Denver takes over at the 20.
He was talking to his pal Bob Swinson, who is not able to get into the action and is a great linebacker.
Right here is Elway with much time, able to drill it and completes. He threw a bullet to Steve Watson.
I think just the philosophy that Denver's using today is different than it has been in the past. They've got 1 minute and 32 seconds. They've got the ball on their own 20-yard line. They come out on the first play and try to move the ball downfield. And I think the reluctance to do that is what had Denver fans a little concerned in the past. John loves it. He loves to always have things going where you can put the ball up in the air. He's doing it very well today, and Denver is really taking it to the Cleveland Browns. Suggested at the start of the ball game. This is what the San Diego Chargers said that John Elway is tipping by doing. Now watch him tap the ball just before he throws. Now if this is going to help anybody in playing defense against him, good luck to him, because that ball is coming at that time.
Right, at that point you know he's going to throw.
We all know he's throwing now.
All right, 20-yard pickup to Steve Watson, and here is Elway again. This time he goes short for Poole. And Nathan stops the clock, running it out at the 46, covered by Lawrence Johnson. So 2nd down and 4 coming up. You see 1:26 remaining in this first half.
You know what happens when you start taking a shot at it, moving it down the field? It picks up the perceptions of the whole team. You see, Nathan Poole knows now we've got to save some time. We're trying to get in the end zone, and so he does the right thing. Earlier in the year, they never had those sort of decisions to make because they weren't having to go at it, and I think they're a much more improved team when they do.
And Elway out of the shotgun. Jesse Miles out of the backfield. The intended receiver, it was right there. It was a bullet, but he should have had it.
Well, he should have had it easily. That's the only way that the Denver Broncos have been stopped today, is on drop balls. Otherwise, they would not have needed to punt.
Miles, a rookie out of LSU, signed as a free agent. Actually came to camp overweight, about 225 plus, and nearly got himself cut. And then worked the way down, made the club, and the Broncos see him as a future prospect. 3rd down and 4. 1:21 left in the half. And Elway to run. So John Elway with the first down, the quick call for the timeout. Clay Matthews of Cleveland on the tackle.
You know what he did? This takes some talent. As soon as he got the first down, which he got by about a foot, watch his reaction. He looks over to Dan Reeves before he calls timeout. Now, I'll tell you, that's pretty quick thinking. It's impulsive to call timeout right away, but watch. He's down. Now he looks over. He's looking at Dan. Dan gives him the sign. He calls timeout. Back to the huddle.
Easily John Elway's most impressive stint here at home. As the timeout has been called, we'll be right back.
There are a lot of ways to find a high in life without using
Announcement furnished as a public service by the National Football League. And there's Dave Logan, grew up in the Denver area. In fact, purchased better than $1,000 worth of tickets for today's game. He says he'd be in trouble if he played on a regular basis in the AFC West. Have to be here 2 trips every season. Elway trying to run out of trouble. Eluded the tackle, firing for Sampson. Touchdown.
That twosome is getting along pretty well, Marv. We expected number 7 to come on someday, but number 84, Clint Sampson, has come on beyond anybody's expectations. This play was especially well done because he almost ran into the official. What happened is Elway had fooled the whole secondary and the official. The official was not supposed to be in the way of the deep receiver, but because Elway came to him late, the official was out of position. Sampson barely got away from him, made a great catch for the touchdown.
49-yard pass play. Here is Rich Karlis. And the Denver Broncos in a surprise, leading the Cleveland Browns 21-3, and it's a Denver welcome for John Elway, who has been hearing it from the crowd and from the media in this his rookie season.
Well, the big thing is that he's handled it. He's an outstanding athlete. He took all he had to throw, and he comes back firing. Take a look. Sampson has just eluded the official, brings it down for 6, and it's 21-3.
John Elway, 7 for 13, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns for Clint Sampson, his first 2 touchdowns in the National Football League. There's Clint Sampson, a rookie out of San Diego State. 1:03 remaining in this first half. And Elway and the Broncos have surged in front, 21-3.
That's the first time that Dan Reeves has had an opportunity to smile in the first half of a ball game lately, because they've had a little problem offensively. It seems to be over with.
And Reeves, attempting to take some of the heat off Elway this week, blamed himself in making the comparison to the way Dan Marino, the outstanding rookie quarterback for Miami, has come along. In fact, he said, well, Don Shula may be more experienced in handling these situations.
There's a lot of differences. No 2 situations are the same. They're seeing what John Elway can do right now.
All right, Boyce Green stays right there, and the Browns will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Sam Ratigliano, who has put the jacket on, getting a little nippy, and Sam not pleased with what has taken place. Pittsburgh Steelers have already lost. The Browns with an opportunity to move into a tie for the division lead, and here they are falling behind 21-3.
Well, and they've been playing so well for the last month. He certainly didn't expect this sort of a blowout early.
But much time remaining.
Oh, yeah.
With a minute left, first half, penalty flag thrown, and Sight hit down at the 22-yard line by Walt Boyer, the left defensive end, rookie out of Arizona State.
You know, about 2 years ago, I think I saw Brian Sipe at least 10 points down in 8 or 9 of the victories that his club grabbed, and he's going to get the benefit of a penalty here, so that'll help some. And you can bet he's trying to get it down the field with 51 seconds left. They've still got 2 timeouts.
All right, here's the call from the ref, Pat Haggerty.
Offside, number 65, defense.
Well, it was Walt Boyer, the man who made the tackle, called for the offside, so it'll be a first down and 5. All right, Pittsburgh with the loss now 9-5, and Cleveland 8 up and 5 down. With a victory, can move into a tie. Browns and Steelers play each other in 2 weeks, final day of the regular season. White Walker refusing to go down, but Tom Jackson would have none of that.
Tom Jackson, you didn't even have to look at the jersey, because that man doesn't let people in the open field get away from him. It looked like a play that was going to break for a big gain. He was the only man in the area. Just by one arm, he holds the runner and pulls him down. That's a little athletic ability there.
All right, in the AFC West, the reason the Broncos are so fired up, very much in the chase for a wild card spot, not only with Seattle but several other clubs. Buffalo has won, so they are 8-6. The Jets and the Colts also involved in that scramble.
But take a look at the importance for them playing Cleveland, because there's a good chance that it will be between Denver and Cleveland, and those two teams could tie. As far as a wild card is concerned, the winner would be the winner of this ball game, and Denver, by a long shot, is not out of anything.
And a timeout has been called with 39 seconds remaining in this first half. John Elway's best day as a pro, when he did show flashes early in the season against the Eagles. He was 18 for 33, 193 yards, but off to a terrific start here in this first half. The 2 touchdown passes to Clint Sampson.
They're calling plays for him that I think suit his ability, Marv. He's got a real howitzer for an arm, so they can run patterns down the field. He's the type of thrower that likes to throw the ball down the field, and they're calling those plays for him.
All right, first down for the Browns at their 30-yard line.
Look out.
Sight for Walker. Some running room. White Walker breaks a tackle. Oh, beautiful move out to midfield. White Walker, the second-year man out of Nickel State. That's Nickel State in Louisiana. A 4th-round draft pick last season, picking up 20 on the play. Hurry up offense, clock running down to 15 seconds remaining in the half. Sight going sideline, looking to stop the clock. And let's see, did he get out?
He did that.
All right, Ozzie Newsome crawling out of bounds to stop the clock. 7 seconds left.
Well, they've got 1 timeout left. They've got 7 seconds. It takes just about that much time to throw a pattern down the field 20 yards. So they won't have a chance to call a timeout with an easy field goal try. But remember, they've got a long field goal kicker. And if they can move the ball down about 15 more yards quick enough, they could make one. It looks like they're going to try it from here. It would be 57 yards, 58 yards. Stranger things have happened.
All right, their long-range field goal kicker is Steve Cox in his 3rd season out of Arkansas, and this will be his first attempt of the season. They use Matt Bahr from the conventional distances, and this one is from 58 yards away.
No doubt he has enough strength in his leg. His kickoffs go out of the end zone.
All right, here it is. And it's good. 58-yard field goal by Steve Cox. Steve Cox had his best kickoff game ever. He is the man who kicks off for the Cleveland Browns. That is a rookie here in Denver, putting 4 beyond the end zone. Talk about a strong leg.
Well, watch too. He knows it's good as soon as the ball gets over the line of scrimmage. It is the longest field goal in Browns history. You can see by his reaction, he's quite well satisfied. But that baby would have carried by 5 or 6 more.
And when you talk Browns history, you're talking Lou Groza.
That's right. That ball was as far as the one Tom Dempsey kicked. It just didn't have to be as long.
Steve Cox with a 58-yard field goal, and the Broncos now lead it by the score of 21-6. The previous club record, Don Cockcroft, back in 1972 against these same Denver Broncos, kicked one for 57.
Well, you know what happens? Very seldom do teams try to kick them that long, except the air is a little thinner back in Denver. They extend the area a little bit, and so they do try a few, and by gum, they make them.
All right, Steve Cox is being carried as the second kicker along with Matt Bahr. Steve Cox using what can be called a life-saving tube, a small plastic tube that drains excess fluid in the brain. And that is the reason at the start of the year when this was discovered that Matt Bahr was signed, and Sam Rutigliano, here's the onside, decided to also keep Cox as the luxury for the long-range shots. And here's Steve coming through in his first attempt from 58. So this first half has come to a close. John Elway and Clint Sampson, the rookie duo, combining for 2 long-range touchdowns, one from 39, one from 49. We had a Cleveland Brown record field goal. The Denver Broncos, in a surprise, leading the Cleveland Browns by the score of 21-6. We'll be back right after these messages. Light of the first half to this point, Mike Pruitt has been held in check. Brian Sipe intercepted 2 times, costly interceptions, and as a result, the Browns are trailing 21-6, and with an opportunity to take advantage of the Pittsburgh defeat at the hands of Cincinnati.
Yeah, and we just took a look at Brian Sipe, who didn't have one of his better first halves. As we look at the stats, 12 first downs, but not a lot of movement and not a lot of sustained movement at any one time. 14 for 24. He had a few drops. It was the 2 turnovers that were the mistakes that they haven't been making that has really been a factor.
All right, Steve Cox with the kickoff and a short kick. Steve Wilson has to come back for it. And he's racked up inside the 10. The return by the 5-year man from Howard University, Steve Wilson. Dwight Walker on the scene quickly and leading the tacklers.
And you know, it's a thing you ought to think about before it happens, but Steve Wilson did not have to run that ball out of the end zone. It was a muff. When he went back to pick it up, all he had to do was get on one knee, and they'd have had it out to the 20, but he didn't think that fast.
So first down at the 9-yard line. And John Elway and the Broncos to the offense. Dave Studdard, Ken Lanier at the tackles, Tom Classic, Paul Howard at the guards, Bill Bryan at center. That is Sammy Winder, the lone deep back. Watson in motion. And Elway throwing on the run again. The first down picked up. A 17-yard pass play.
Piece of cake, Marv. When he gets that much time rolling out to his right, he can throw the ball on the run with anybody. You'll notice how little effort is involved. He's got his motion back. Earlier in the season, I felt he was throwing with way too much effort, almost knocking his receivers down on a few occasions. Now he's got his confidence back. He's having fun playing football. That completion to John Sawyer for a first down.
And it's a first down at the 26-yard line. Now Poole and Winder are the running backs. That is Egloff in motion. And here's Winder. Up to the 28, Tom Cousineau, inside linebacker on the right, making the stop.
You haven't mentioned the name Tom Cousineau very much today, Marvin. He is a key to whether or not you can move the ball aggressively on the offense. If you don't stop Cousineau and those other 2 outstanding linebackers, you're going to have your hands full with the Browns. They've been handling them pretty well.
All right, second down and 6. Upcoming out of the 30-yard line. They shift out of the I. Getting it away to Poole, 35, and bumped out, but has picked up the first down. Eddie Johnson on the hit.
You know, that was a beautiful throw, and what he didn't do is he didn't give away where he was going with the ball until the last fraction. When you do that, you give your back some running room once he catches the ball. Watch John here. He's looking downfield. He's not looking out to the side. Sure, he's patting the ball. He'll pat it just before he throws it, but when he turns, he's got the ball out there, and Poole's got a little bit of room to run. Picks up the first.
Third reception for Nathan Poole, so Elway spreading it out, going wide receivers, going to the running backs. First down at the 38, out of the ground for Winder. Could not make the turn. Good tackle by number 51, Eddie Johnson, in his 3rd season out of Louisville. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Back at the 36-yard line. Watson to the right and Sampson in the slot right. Elway again throwing off the roll. Firing for the completion. Steve Watson for the first down. Eddie Johnson covering, 13-yard pass play, and Elway looking very sharp.
He's going to look sharp when he gets the kind of time that his offensive line has been giving him. Take a look at Bishop, Bryan. They're both keeping people from coming from his backside. When John gets out there, he threw a little behind Watson, but the play kind of got a little discombobulated. Eddie Johnson is trying. He bops Sampson on the way out. The pattern got broken down, but Elway found him anyway.
And now Watson is left, Sampson right. First down at midfield. Here's Poole. That time tried the right side and picked up short yardage. Reggie Camp, the left defensive end, on the tackle. And looking at the Browns defensively, it is Camp, Golick, and Franks up front. Banks, Johnson, Cousineau, and Matthews, the linebackers. Johnson in there instead of the starter Nicholas. Lawrence Johnson, Hanford Dixon. At the corners, Clinton Burrell and Mike Whitwell are the safety men. And the 49ers doing it to Tampa Bay. Dallas in front of Seattle, 14-3 in the third. John Elway has hit on his last 4 straight. Make it 5 in a row. Egloff pulling away. The tight end, Ron Egloff, for a long gainer.
You're seeing a man that's calling a game for John Elway that's really superb. Every time the Browns are in a position to blitz Elway, he's got the proper pattern call. That time, the best man to hit against the blitz is a tight end. You see, there's nobody around. When John throws the ball to Egloff, now Egloff comes on, picks it up, but Whitwell never did really have a hold of Egloff. At 170 pounds, it's really kind of a mismatch.
Ron Egloff goes 6'5", 227, and he left it for 26 yards. First down at the 23. Elway off the roll, chased by Camp, getting it away again. It's the tight end, Sawyer. We are seeing the complete repertoire of brilliant drive being engineered by the Broncos. Burrell on the tackle of Sawyer.
What you're able to do is you're seeing John and his movement. Now, if you're a defensive lineman, it's tough to get in there on the quarterback if you don't know where he's going to be. They've moved him around the field pretty well. They've got him rolling out to the right, rolling out to the left, throwing the ball quick on blitzes. It's a well-called game, and John is throwing the ball superbly.
That's 6 consecutive completions. Watson is left, and Sampson slot left. Very impressive stats for John Elway. First down at the 12. Winder inside the 10. And a penalty flag. Cousineau and Banks, perhaps a little over-aggressive.
Yeah, they're just trying to make a play. They've got Cleveland very frustrated. It's not a lack of enthusiasm on the Browns' part. It's great execution on the part of the Broncos. They come back, they blocking people across the line of scrimmage. Winder picks up about 3 or 4 yards, and it looks like he's going to get 5 more tacked on for the face mask. I don't care what you say. If you look at that picture, that man's got a hold of his face mask.
So here is Pat Haggerty calling it
Face mask, number 56, defense. First down. Still first down. Still first down.
It is a 1st and goal inside the 5. 5.5 minutes gone by. Another long drive for the Denver Broncos. They lead it 21-6. Winder and Poole are the running backs. Watson to the left. That's Egloff moving to the right of the line. And here's Winder picking his way. Winder brought down by the inside linebacker, Scott Nicholas, and they place it at the 1.
You take a look. This game is over by no means, and the Browns right now are trying to get some sort of a good break themselves. They've given it up a few times, but take a look at how scrappy it is down there around that goal line.
And it's a 2nd and goal at the 1.
I think it's a first down. They had a first down. They started at the 12.
sideline marker has it as a first down, but they're calling that out on the board as a second and goal. However, it may be academic. Let's see. Oh, Nathan Poole.
Listen, what happened, Marv, is the ball started on about the 12-yard line. They made about 4 yards. They got a face mask hold, but it wasn't a first down.
Right.
It was second down and a couple yards to go. They picked up the first. Right now, it is second down and 2 yards to go for a touchdown.
You're right, and they have corrected the scoreboard to not get one by the
We're all
Birds.
once in a while. Yeah, you can get a lot of things by me, but that one I happen to remember.
And now it is a second and goal at the 2. Getting it off and picked off. Let's see. Nope. Not able to hold on. Inbounds. Clarence Scott had a shot.
Well, they may come back with the same play because it looked to me as if he had his tight end open. It's Dave Studdard who has become an eligible receiver when they're in that short yardage offense. I know he's not accustomed to looking for number 70, but he was standing all alone that time.
And Denver has succeeded on 5 of 7. Third down situations. Right now it's a third and goal at the 2. And the Broncos have maintained possession now for 7 minutes.
I've done that a few times today.
13th play of the drive. Winder trying to cut back. So good job by the Cleveland Browns.
We mentioned the Browns weren't ready to throw in the towel.
Rich Karlis is coming on to attempt the field goal.
I think there's a lot of people that want to know what. There's some confusion, and I think it's over what down it was. There were certain people upstairs on the scoreboard that still had it third down. Others have it fourth. There was a mix-up, but I can assure you it's fourth down, and it's time to kick a field goal.
And here's Rich Karlis coming on for the first time. He has had an excellent season. As you see, 7 straight, 18 of 22, barefoot soccer style. Rich Karlis out of the University of Cincinnati, attempting from 20. And it is good. So Karlis, who has been devastating at that range, he's now 6 for 7 between 20 and 29, has given Denver a 24-6 advantage.
This is the automobile you probably didn't expect from Mercedes-Benz. On the test track, it moves comfortably at more than 100 miles an hour. Its unique rear suspension provides extraordinary handling. Its quick reflexes exemplify legendary Mercedes-Benz engineering. More than just a new automobile, it is a new class of automobile. The new Mercedes-Benz 190 class.
Fresh taste of the Rockies, 12 at a time, from Coors, all the way to you.
The best of the Rockies is yours.
Today's game is brought to you by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By a tool for modern times, the IBM personal computer. And by Sony, the one and only. Well, a 14-play drive, 88 yards. Denver not able to get in for the 6, but Rich Karlis kicking a 20-yard field goal, and the Broncos now lead it 24-6.
The impressive thing from a Denver fan standpoint is they did not sit on their 21-6 lead. They went after them the same way they started the ballgame.
And the kickoff by Karlis. Here's Dwight Walker inside the 5. 15. Pulling his way to the 20. The return by Dwight Walker, who's averaging about 22 yards per kickoff return. He took it for 18. Rick Dennison leading the coverage. And the Browns now first down at the 20 with 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this third quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
If you want
I like it.
If you really like it,
I really like it.
we can help you get it. We're GMAC. We're GMAC Financing.
GMAC has helped more people buy their new GM car or truck than anyone, with rates that make sense on models people want, all at your GM dealer.
Marv Albert, John Brody from Denver's Mile High Stadium. 100th consecutive sellout here in Denver. And Brian Sipe and the Browns first down at the 20-yard line. The Browns trailing 24-6. That's Adams in motion. And here's Sipe getting it down and overthrowing Ozzie Newsome, who was well covered by Steve Wilson. John, you feel that Sipe is having difficulties with his arm? He is said to have a tired arm.
Well, obviously, he has had a few arm problems, Marvin. I've noticed a few balls he's thrown did not have the zip on them that they needed and that he has had in the previous. I think right here it's Steve Busick who forces him into a precarious situation. He's not trying to hit Ozzie Newsome on this play. He's throwing it into the cheap seats. I think we ought to watch it, though, because it has been tired.
He threw only 2 days of practice this week. Earlier in the year, he had a chronic elbow problem. All right, this time able to complete. Newsome out near the 30-yard line. Right now, we're set for another update. Let's go to New York City, our studios at NFL 83.
Okay, thank you, Marv. In Baltimore, the Colts are creeping back. Here's Raul Allegre. 42 yards away, he hits it. The Jets still lead it, but now our score in Baltimore is Jets 10, Baltimore 6. Marv?
All right, Len, and that's our score here. Denver 24, Cleveland 6. Browns just shy of a first down. Third down, about 1. Inside the 30. And Pruitt picking it up. But it's been a very quiet day. Mike Pruitt seeing much activity at the start, but has not had himself a big ball game as he guns for the 1,000-yard mark. Only 19 yards on 9 carries.
Yeah, well, when you get blown out of the tub early, you don't have that luxury we were talking about before the ball game, where you can run the ball to set up good situations play-wise. Brian Sipe's under the gun right now. They've got to come back and score 3 touchdowns. You don't do it at 5 yards of crack.
All right, they have Harry Holt, rookie out of Arizona, tight end on the right side as Pruitt, with the flag thrown, crosses the 35-yard line. And a penalty marker down. Cleveland Browns come in with a record of 8-5, 3 straight wins, 4 of the last 5. Decisive win over the Colts last week as Sipe threw for 3 touchdowns, 313 yards. And with a chance to move into a tie for the division lead, with Pittsburgh losing to Cincinnati, but trailing here 24-6.
Offside, number 50, defense.
By Jim Ryan, the outside linebacker. There's Jim in his 5th season out of William & Mary, taking over for the injured Bob Swenson. Called for the offside. It is a 1st and 5 at the 36. Chant of defense from the crowd. Sipe off the pump, couldn't find anyone. Now signaling. And overthrows Dave Logan.
Well, he had 2 fellas standing wide open. He just dissected them. All right, Brian did an excellent job of getting out of a trap here. He didn't have any receivers open. Okay, little pump fake, but nobody's open. Who wants the ball? He comes back. Logan's coming back for it. He just puts it right in between them. A little frustrating. That's the way the day is gone.
And he now has a 2nd and 5 at the 36. Brian Sipe has had himself a magnificent stretch, having his difficulties here against the Broncos. And this time able to complete for the first down. It's Dave Logan out of Colorado University, stopped by Jim Ryan. And a first down for the Browns. Time remaining, 3rd quarter, just under 5. For Logan, only his first catch of the day. He had one nullified earlier by a penalty.
Their wide receivers have been pretty well shut down. When you're playing against Louis Wright, that's the way it's going to work. Steve Wilson's been picking off all the foul balls, so they're doing all right.
Yes, Wilson with one intercept, Foley with another. By Pruitt. And they continue to handle him well. Barney Chavis on the stop. Barney, always steady over the years, makes very few mistakes. This his 11th season out of South Carolina State. Pruitt is 16 yards away from the 1,000-yard mark. 2nd down and 7. There you see the big second quarter for the Broncos. 2 touchdowns thrown by John Elway. Intercept setting up another for the 3-yard run by Sammy Winder. 2nd and 7. Adams in motion. And here's Pruitt looking to throw on the option, and a bad toss. Check that. Walker looking to throw. Willis Adams, the intended receiver.
You know, so often when it's an option play, the back forgets the first option, which is to run the ball. And if a play ever opened up for him to run the ball for 5 or 6 yards at least, that one did. Beautiful blocking up in front. Looks like he can move somewhere. He elected to throw it in the ground. 3rd and 7.
Dwight Walker's now 1 for 3 as a passer. Had one picked off earlier this year and completed one for 25 yards. 3rd down and 7.
They're up on the line again.
Quick pitch and an overthrow intended for Bobby Jones.
Ryan threw it a little bit before he had to. He knew he was in trouble. It was a safety blitz, but he had everybody picked up inside. He kind of expected to have to get rid of it quicker. Threw it a little quicker than he needed. It's a turnover. Good defensive play by the Broncos. Take a look at Joel Collier over the years. He doesn't make many mistakes.
And Jeff Gossett getting set for his 3rd punt of the day. He is back at his 31, and that is Zach Thomas. 3:42 left, 3rd quarter. And Thomas waves at it. And a wise decision again. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. A 54-yard punt credited to Jeff Gossett. And the Broncos to the offense with that big lead at 24-6.
4 years ago, we introduced Chevy Citation, and it became America's most popular front-drive car. But that wasn't good enough for the engineers. Since that time, they've improved its performance, improved its ride, improved its comfort. And after making so many engineering refinements, we made one more change. The name. Announcing Chevy Citation 2. Buy now and no monthly payments till March 1st.
Seguin, Texas and Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Seguin means barbecue at its biggest and best. And Milwaukee means beer. Cold, crisp, old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden old Milwaukee Light.
And old Milwaukee.
And old Milwaukee Light.
I think that banner was just orchestrated at the end of the first half.
That looks like it was just put up there. That one didn't start that way.
All right, 1st down at the 20-yard line. John Elway, who has had his best day in the NFL, going the ground route for Sammy Winder. Elway thus far 12 for 19, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. As you see, he's hit on 10 of his last 12.
Remember, he's had 3 or 4 balls dropped, too. I mean, to stop. That's the only time they've been stopped all day.
And San Francisco maintaining the lead on Tampa Bay in the 3rd. 2nd and 7 for the Broncos. Watson is near side, and Sampson, who has caught 2 touchdowns, up at the top of your screen. And it's Winder. Little shake and bake by Sammy Winder. Burrell and Whitwell on the stop.
Well, you get the people spread out enough, and he's been throwing the ball from that very same pattern. Split backs, he rolls out to the right. He's been throwing the ball to either one of his tight ends. Now when you give the ball to Winder on a draw play, he's going to find some running room. He did. It's 3rd down and about 6 inches.
And Sammy Winder has been a weapon here this afternoon.
Again, when he starts fast, he seems to continue that way. He started fast today, and he's carried right on.
It is a 3rd down and 1, just inside the 30. As we approach 2 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Poole lined up in front of Winder. That'll be high. Winder with the hole. Out to the 35-yard line for the 1st down. Larry Brazil and Al Gross on the tackle, so Denver maintaining possession.
All right, take a look at the offensive linemen. Now, they're the men that are really doing a job for them. The Broncos offensive line, right guard and center, Bryan and Howard, right there. Watch this move. Here we come. When you get through there, these fellas have to do a job. They got a little help from their right tackle, Ken Lanier. He opens a hole. When you do that, you're going somewhere.
And Elway on 1st down. Again off the punt. And able to run it out inside the 40-yard line. Tom Cousineau running about, but a penalty marker thrown. And the movement of Elway continues to provide problems for the Browns.
Well, that one was all set up by him. He made a good pump fake, got the defensive linemen to raise their hands and roll right around him.
Holding defense.
This is the way you play when you're having fun, and it's very apparent that John Elway's having a little fun. It's the ability to create that separates the good from the great players. He is obviously potentially a great player. He's playing exceptionally well today, and this is what the Bronco fans had in store when they got him.
Defense, number 48, 1st down.
All right, Lawrence Johnson, the left cornerback. There he is, called for the hold. 4th year out of Wisconsin. Not a pleasant day for Sam Rutigliano.
He's running out of time if he expects to get back in this.
And having difficulty getting the ball back. That's Egloff, 85, in motion. And this is Wilhite breaking tackles. Chip Banks on the stop. And we're down to 1:05 left in this 3rd quarter.
The Browns have been on defense all day, but we haven't seen a lot of Tom Cousineau or Chip Banks. Number 56, a great player. Made a pretty good play that time to hold Wilhite to a 1.5-yard gain, but more often than not, it's been the Broncos on the top side.
And a 2nd down and 9. Getting a little chilly here in Denver. Temperature down to 32 degrees, but no snow to this point. The swing for Wilhite. Gerald Wilhite for the 1st down. Good block from Tom Blassett.
Performance is contagious, Marvin. When one segment picks itself up, everybody picks its game up. Now, Gerald Wilhite made about 8 or 9 yards all on his own. The ball was well thrown. Easy play to handle right over the defensive end. Wilhite takes it on the run. But now when he gets it, these are the sort of plays that every football team needs to keep its drives alive. And today, Broncos are getting them.
15 yards for Wilhite. And the gun sounding, ending the 3rd quarter. At the end of 3, it's Denver 24, Cleveland 6. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, will it be Southern Fried Kit when Michael tries to save a Cajun cutie from her jealous husband? The heat's up on Knight Rider. Then you'll see more than 150 stars in 2 fantastic hours of TV's greatest moments. Join your favorites in Here's Television Entertainment tonight.
If I could hold time in my hand.
Making the best of time. That's the way Herman Joseph's makes beer. The finest ingredients brewed slowly, carefully.
Time's what you make of it, what you pour in.
Herman Joseph's, aged longer than any leading American beer, even Michelob, for a mellow taste that's unforgettable.
Time's what you make of it this time. Make the best times happen again.
Herman Joseph's, we make the best of time.
Could I please have the attention of anybody who still hasn't switched to Burger King? We didn't want to resort to this, but you leave us no choice.
Presenting the ultimate weapon.
hope it won't be necessary to do this again.
Happy Hanukkah from everybody here at Channel 4.
Well, it has turned out to be a nippy day here at Mile High Stadium in Denver, and a wonderful day for the rookie quarterback John Elway, who finally has done it, because he has taken all kinds of heat here in Denver.
I don't think the statistics are what indicates the way he's played. He's made the big plays whenever they've needed them. He's the guy that really got them off the floor in a very big game. Denver knows it's still in the hunt. For them to stay there, they have to win today, and he's done everything a quarterback can do.
A 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line for the Broncos as we open up this 4th quarter. It's Winder. And this time the swarming Brown defense all over Winder for the loss on the play. Eddie Johnson leading the attack. And Eddie Johnson, a name that has been called out frequently. Would you explain this one?
Hey, the guy looks like he's doing a good job.
Say, when people have time on their hands, what they can do.
What they can create.
2nd and 11. Winder lost the yard. Just underway, 4th quarter. Again the point, and again the completion. Steve Watson. Lawrence Johnson on the coverage, but Elway is just firing balls.
Well, he's so good at that. Now, there's certain things you can't teach anybody. That is how well to throw a ball and with how much velocity do you have on it. He gets the ball from his hands into his receiver's hands 25 yards down the field as fast as anyone in the game. The only man that ever equaled him, I think, was Terry Bradshaw. But John can really fire it, and they're using what he can do best, and that's what I like most about their offense today.
14-yard pass play. Watson's 3rd catch of the day. 1st down at the Cleveland 27. And they mix it up. Here's Wilhite. Penalty flag throw. Impressive move by Gerald Wilhite to the 10-yard line. And a beautiful block by Nathan Poole. However, it'll be a do-over. Penalty upcoming on the Broncos. So the 17-yard play is nullified. The Broncos have been strong finishers in their ball games this season, although they have scored the 3rd fewest points in the AFC. They've come on strong in the 4th quarter.
Tell you, Dan knows this is a big game, and he knows it is not over. The Cleveland Browns have come back several times in the history of their franchise from deficits that were larger than this. 3 touchdowns will get them back in the game, but they can't get any without the ball.
All right, next Sunday, Cleveland will be at Houston, and they close the regular season at home against Pittsburgh. They lost to Pittsburgh 44-17. That was back in October. 1st and 20 now on the draw. Winder for very little.
The time of possession, though, has been the whole key to the 2nd half. Remember, 92-yard drive. They can make a 3-pointer, but as you mentioned, it took over 7 minutes. They've had the ball now for about 3.5, 4 more minutes. So if they continue at that pace, they're just going to have a nice grinding type offense. Who'd have thought it from the Denver Broncos?
Saw the clock running down. 2 minutes gone by in this 4th quarter. So you figure Terry Bradshaw will be back at the final game to face the Cleveland Browns.
I'm making the decision he'd have been back a few games ago.
And this one is picked off. Lawrence Johnson on the intercept. Denver arguing that there was not possession, but the officials say yes. So Elway has been intercepted for the first time today. Lawrence Johnson coming up with it.
All right, this time he tries to fire that ball in there. 2 receivers have been on the play. Lawrence Johnson makes a perfect, he just anticipated it perfectly. It's the first time Sampson's been beat in his quest for the ball, and they get a turnover.
James like a...
Clint Sampson let Lawrence Johnson get in front of him to create the first turnover that the Browns have been able to capitalize on throughout the day. The fans thought the ball was not cleanly caught, but it was cleanly caught, and it couldn't have come at a better time for the Browns, who've had a little problem getting a hold of it.
And it's a 1st down.
Look at that.
at the 23. So Cleveland finally getting the football. And Mike Pruitt is stopped across the 25-yard line. They are trying to establish the running game.
Well, they know, and everyone in the house knows, that it's a little too late for that act. Maybe they thought they could pick up 7 or 8 yards real quick, but they're into their fast Super Duty offense right now, and they know they got to get going.
2nd down 7. Sight throwing in a crowd intended for Harry Holt. The backup tight end, Randy Gradishar, swatting it away.
Tough place to beat the Broncos is in between Tom Jackson and Randy Gradishar.
Well, we mentioned during our preview look at these two clubs in NFL 83 the similarity of the strength in the linebacking core, both the Browns and the Broncos, with tremendous alignment of linebackers. For the Broncos, it's Ryan, Busick, Gradishar, and Jackson. They're out there right now.
And they're all trying to get to the quarterback.
3rd down play for the Browns. 12 minutes left, 4th quarter. And Sight scrambling around and throwing sideline intended for Bobby Jones. Flag down. Penalty marker down.
Usually when you see a blitz and they don't get to the quarterback any sooner than they're getting to Brian Sipe today, you find a receiver come wide open. But we haven't seen that happen, and you have to attribute it to the excellent secondary coverage of Lewis Wright and Steve Wilson.
They have done a job, and Dennis Smith returning to the lineup along with Steve Foley. Broncos have been hammered by injuries all season long. Penalty upcoming against Denver. But apparently we're having some audio problems. But the penalty called on Dennis Smith, Broncos strong safety. And it's a 1st down for Cleveland, a big play. 1st down at the 32. Logan is out to the left side, and Adams right. Green is the lone deep back. Sipe had time. Incomplete, intended for Willis Adams.
He threw that ball away. What he's doing is he's trying to find an open receiver. That time he had 4 wide receivers down the field. He had over 3.5 seconds to throw the ball. He still could not find anybody open. And since, look, he's got plenty of time to throw the ball, but he can't find anybody to throw it to. So you take a look. There's 3-on-2 out there. He throws it out in the cheap seats.
And it'll be a 2nd and 10.
Oh, the fans are trying to think that he should have had an intentional grounding throwing the ball.
So 2nd and 10 back at the 32, and the crowd reacts. This is Green fighting his way to the 40-yard line, but short of the 1st down. Gradishar and Jackson have the reps on Boyce Green.
He hasn't really been given an opportunity to either run the ball or do much with it after he's caught it today, but he looks like he'll be a good one.
The key to the success of the Browns this season, particularly the last 3 weeks, has been the strong play of the offensive line and the lack of mistakes, not turning it over. Well, mistakes have been made by the Browns. This afternoon, the 2 interceptions by the Broncos. Sipe has not been able to find his receivers. 3rd down and 1. Sipe throwing it. And Ozzie Newsome on the reception right near the 1st down marker.
This will be determined by the mark, and it looks to me as if he's got it by about 1 yard. So that'll at least keep the drive alive. But the yardage is coming tough.
And that was the 8th reception by Newsome. Well, it is a 1st down. 8 catches, 78 yards, but has not been an awesome day for Ozzie. Several of the receptions have been very short yardage plays. First down at the 43. 10 minutes, 40 seconds to go. 4th quarter. diving attempt by Adams.
This is very unlike Brian Sipe. He does not throw the ball too early very often. He's usually got excellent timing, and today he's thrown the ball before his receivers have broken, and that time he could have held it a little longer, and I think he would have had the completion. His timing is not nearly as good as I've seen it.
2nd down and 10 out of the 43-yard line.
That could have something to do with the fact that his arm is bothering him.
Sipe took a long look. And there were 2 receivers who were possibilities once again, either Newsome or Logan.
He was trying to throw that ball to Ozzie Newsome, but Dennis Smith was all over the top of him. Let's take a look. You've got Ozzie standing right out here. He'll come down the field. Nope, he's right here. Right there, but he's never open. Dennis Smith's got him all the way. What do you think that mark?
Nice work.
File that one.
You were hoping Ozzie would run into your pattern. All right, Sipe is 18 for 35 for 204 yards. There are people who make a lot of money analyzing marks such as you just made. 3rd down and 10.
They're all coming again.
And picked off. Roger Jackson off the deflection. So the interception by the Broncos. And Brian Sipe has been intercepted 3 times this afternoon.
Well, here, it's very simple. Brian Sipe is in blitzing situations, and he can't find a receiver that can get open. If you can't do that, you're going to get beat. That time, Roger Jackson has a certain 6 points. He drops the ball. Take a look. Here he drops it. At least he has enough presence of mind to get the ball out of bounds. It's another turnover for Denver, and everything's going just right at Mile High.
Your Chevy dealer's big USA 1 year-end sales drive is on. They're out to sell 250,000 cars and trucks by year's end. With so many to sell, it's dealing time. There's another reason to see your Chevy dealer. You can save $255 on a specially equipped S10 pickup or $730 on a tough C10 pickup. And for the first time ever from Chevrolet, take retail delivery now on any of these selected models only and make no monthly payment until March 1st with GMAC Finance.
Brian Sipe picked off for the 3rd time today. Roger Jackson doing it, joining Steve Wilson and Steve Foley. And look at the statistics of John Elway. 1st and 10 at the 41 for Elway and the Broncos. And again to the ground, Sammy Winder stopped by Tom Cousineau. Today's game is being brought to you by Mazda, inviting you to experience the remarkable Mazda RX-7. By new Gillette Fully Gel with more lubricants for the closeness and comfort you want in a shave. And by Honda Motorcycles, inventors of the ATC 3-wheeler. Honda, follow the leader.
Barb, now is the time when you do get very conservative because they've got a good lead. They're more than 2 touchdowns ahead. The only thing that can hurt the Broncos is to make a stupid play in a critical time like this. They've got them on the run. You can bet they won't throw it very much. You know? Now is the time when Cleveland has to catch up on the other side of the coin. All they have to do is run out the clock.
And Gerald Wilhite on that carry. We're down at 9:27 and counting remaining in this 4th quarter. It's a 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Broncos, who are looking to go 8 up and 6 down on the season as they continue to vie for a wild card playoff berth.
The big thing, the encouraging thing, if you're a Denver fan, is the play of their offense. 360-plus yards on offense. That's the most encouraging sign they've had all year.
Essie Miles, a rookie from LSU, stopped short of the 1st down. The crowd doesn't like it, as Dan Reeves kept it on the ground. As you said,
they're getting spoiled real quick.
They want Elway to continue airing him out, which is not the wise move. And Rich Karlis will come on. Karlis hit earlier from 20 yards to extend the score to 24-6. And he is 19 for 23 on the season. He's connected on his last 8.
They've got a few new fellas in the lineup. They had 12 for a while, 13 for a while. They took 2 out. I think they're back to 11.
And this is a 50-yard attempt. It is his first attempt from this distance. And it is good. So Karlis from 50 as he continues his excellent kicking. 8:08 left, fourth quarter. And the Broncos now lead the Browns 27-6.
4 seconds ago, here come the Colts. Curtis Dickey, look at him rumble through the Jets secondary. 55 yards in all. He's finally dragged down at the 5. The Colts are threatening, trailing by 4. Back to Denver.
All right, Len, Marv Albert with John Brody at Mile High in Denver. Rich Karlis, who just connected from 50, getting set to kick off. 8 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter, and the Broncos with the comfortable lead, 27-6. Here's White Walker out to the 20. Good coverage by the Broncos. 16-yard return by Walker. Wilbur Myers in on the stop. And Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns with a long way to go up the field right here and also on the scoreboard. John Elway and Clint Sampson combining for 2 touchdown passes in the first half. 1 for 39, 1 for 49. Sammy Wider took one in from short range, set up by an interception. Couple of field goals by the Browns. One a club record 58-yard pop by Steve Cox. And Karlis is hit for 2. All right, this is Walker.
Look out.
Nowhere to go. He tried the spin. It did not work.
Well, you've got nowhere to go if your first decision doesn't work.
The nose tackle, Reuben Carter, right there, stopped at the line. It's a 2nd down and 10. Clock is running, 7.5 left. Fourth quarter. Look out. Sipe able to get it away, incomplete. Ozzie Newsome, the intended receiver, and the Broncos nearly came up with a sack. Rulon Jones was right there.
Rulon Jones causes havoc with most quarterbacks if you're trying to run a pattern that takes 3 seconds. But in the defense of Doug Deacon, the left tackle, he's done a pretty darn good job throughout the day on Rulon Jones. That's the first time we've seen him in Brian's hair.
Doug Deacon making his 176th consecutive start. He and Cody Risen at the tackles. Robert Jackson, Joe DeLamalure have been at the guards. Throughout, Tom DeLeon replacing the injured Mike Babb at center. 3rd down and 10. And Sipe able to complete. Rucky Belk, the rookie from Miami, on the reception for the first down. Rucky Belk, who was a deep threat at the University of Miami. In fact, combined for theatrics with Jim Kelly, who was a first-round draft pick of Buffalo and signed with the USFL. First down at the 36. This is Walker. Out to the 43. Free safety Steve Foley on the stop.
Those are the kind of plays that the Denver defense will go for. They'll settle for that. We'll give them 5 or 6 yards of crack. That will not get them in the end zone. Their secondary coverage has just been exceptional all day long.
They have just handcuffed the offensive game of Cleveland. Here's Walker off the draw and able to pick up the first down. Tom Jackson on the stop. And the clock running. We're down to 6 minutes and 15 seconds left. Fourth quarter. Walker reeling off 13 yards. First down at the 44. Browns just let it get out of hand in the first half. Broncos with 21 points in the second quarter. And Sipe underthrowing. Pass intended for Bobby Jones. All right, we're set for another update at our New York studios, so let's go to Len Berman.
Thank you, Marv. When last we left you, the Colts were at the Jets 5. Here's what happened. Pagel rolls out, throws, tipped once, twice. Crable gathers it in. Bob Crable, the interception. It's a touchback. The Jets get the ball back, leading by 4. Back to Denver.
It'll be a 2nd and 10 at the Denver 44 for the Cleveland Browns. Brian Sipe in his 10th season out of San Diego State, and over the years he's had problems with the Broncos. 6 previous appearances. He's won only 1 time and has had his interception difficulties 7 times the first 6 games, 3 more here today. And Sipe throwing deep, way off for Rocky Belt.
All right, I've seen Sipe enough. He's having an arm problem. His arm has to be bothering him. I don't care what he says. His throwing motion is just not as easy and fluid as it normally is. He's forcing balls, and it's not the Brian Sipe we're all used to watching. This man, Paul McDonald, is in his 4th year out of USC, was their starter last year. They've been trading on and off. Very capable quarterback. I'm sure Sam feels, hey, this was Brian's game to win or lose. It's a little late to make any last-minute substitutions, but I think there'll be some consideration about next week, because if his arm's hurting, he can't go.
McDonald did start twice this year, once against Houston and then against Green Bay, and was replaced by Sipe in the game against the Packers. 3rd and 10. And the diving catch, they rule it incomplete. But he scooped it up. Ricky Feature one-hopped it, covered by Steve Wilson, so it is incomplete. And it's 4th down for Cleveland.
Well, Brian's back. He's throwing the ball low. Now, I don't know what the reason is, but I've seen Brian throw for too long a period of time, and he throws a lot better than that.
Does not look to have the usual zip.
No, he has none.
The criticism in the past against Sipe, particularly in the days of the Cardiac Kids, where he led them to victory and also had some problems, was try to drill it through the crowd, but he could throw the ball strong, and we have not seen that here today. So 4th and 10, and Sipe is hauled down and fumbles. Recovered by the Browns, but let's see.
Got a couple penalty markers down in the secondary also, so we'll have to wait for the officials' verdict.
Cody Risen on the recovery, but flags have been thrown. And Pat Haggerty giving us his Marcel Marceau. As we have a mic problem. Doug Deacon, the left tackle, called on the hold. .35 left in this 4th quarter. And while we have an opportunity here, we would like to wish a speedy recovery to Helen Lewis, who is the mother of our Burbank unit manager, Walter Lewis. And Helen recovering at Longmont United Hospital in Longmont, Colorado, some 35 miles north of Denver. So we'd like to wish Helen well. Apparently that was not the call. The call was against
it was
the Denver
defensive
Broncos.
hold, and it's a 1st down for the Cleveland Browns. And you can see that San Francisco is having a little fun with Tampa Bay today. Dallas isn't having much problem with Seattle.
All right, now let's see if this clears it up. It is a hold on Denver and the 1st down. All right, they're having mic problems, and we're getting the information from the field. So it will be a 1st down at the 47. That last penalty was not against Doug Deacon. 1st down at the 47 for the Browns, who trail 27-6. And Sipe throwing in a crowd, and off the collision, Bobby Jones, the intended receiver, but he was met by Dennis Smith and Lewis Wright.
What you see is their secondary has returned. Dennis Smith and Steve Foley, both of whom have been out and haven't played a lot together in the last 4 or 5 weeks. When this ball's thrown down there and those two are in the game, you can see this, there's going to be a collision, and oftentimes they'll come up with the ball.
Dennis Smith and Steve Foley making their return today. Smith was a question mark throughout the week. Injured his knee some 3 weeks ago. Missed the last 2 games. Dennis Smith, a big play man over the years. All right, 2nd down and 10. And Dave Logan with his 2nd reception of the day. Lewis Wright on the stop.
Boy, even when he does complete him, he's got a defender all over the backs of their receivers. I really haven't seen him miss any open receivers.
Yes, the Denver secondary has done an excellent job. 3rd down and 4. And a wobbler thrown, but it was out of bounds. Ozzie Newsome called incomplete.
Correct call. Didn't get his 2nd foot in.
Ozzie covered by Lewis Wright, and so again a 4th down play.
We may have a chance to see. We see 1 foot. The other foot is on the chalk, although you don't get a clear view of it.
All right, from the other angle, and it is incomplete. He caught it out of bounds. So the Browns now 4th down and 4. 12th play of the drive, but only 37 yards have been gained. So they've had the ball for a long time, but not producing.
They've got 4 receivers in a position to go down the field. Denver's in a blitz situation. They're all one-on-one. We still haven't seen them open.
And Willis Adams dropped it. And that is it for the Cleveland drive. Lewis Wright on the coverage. And the fans here in Denver just love the defensive effort of those Broncos. The Broncos lead the Browns 27-6. 4 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter.
Experience Mazda.
The first thing you notice about the Mazda RX-7 is its sleek, slippery styling. Then you notice amenities like contoured sports seats, a redesigned instrument cluster, and 5-speed overdrive. You also can't help but notice the Mazda RX-7's outstanding value. But perhaps most noticeable of all is just how you feel at times like these. The more you look, the more you like.
The Mazda Experience.
Introducing the switchable Sony, which at the hit of a switch
Play video games. Switch again.
and get regular TV. It's 2 sets in 1.
It's built for home computers and games, but not built like a toy.
Because it's a Trinitron. And no matter which switch you switch, you always get that one-of-a-kind Trinitron.
Remaining in this 4th quarter, Denver has it well in hand. They lead the Cleveland Browns by the count of 27-6. Some of you along the network will be joining the Jets and the Baltimore Colts. And those of you kind enough to stay with us, we can tell you, as John has just gone outside to check the thermometer, comes back with 27 degrees and falling.
Still is not snowing. We've got our official with a new mic, so we'll have that problem cleared up.
And it's a 1st down for the Broncos. John Elway, who has thrown for 2, both to the fellow rookie Clint Sampson. Here's Wilhite. So the short pickup by Gerald Wilhite. Reggie Camp, the left defensive end, the rookie from the University of California, on the stop. And the 2nd down play coming up. Wilhite with a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8 up at the 43.
Denver's whole offense looks crisp. All the little things that they haven't been doing well the past 3 or 4 weeks, they've been doing well today. They've been getting the play in quicker. They've been getting up to the line fast. Their offensive line is enthusiastic and moving people around. Boy, it really makes it easy to play when that's the way it is.
And we have them for 362 total yards, approaching their season high against Kansas City. Wilhite not able to make the turn. Wilhite picked up about a yard. Chip Banks was right there, along with Tom Cousineau.
Brian Sipe, he knows he can't get any pearls of wisdom with only 3:53 left in the ball game, and his team down by 21. It's been one of Brian's tougher days. I'm sure there'll be many. He's had many great ones, and I'm sure he'll have several more, but this wasn't one of them.
And Cleveland will play at Houston next week. Houston giving the Dolphins all kinds of problems today. Third down and 7 with 3:25 remaining in this fourth quarter. Elway on the swing for Miles. Nice move by Jesse Miles. He picked up 7 on the play and a first down.
And John took about all the time he could getting that ball out to Miles, because when he let it go, Clay Matthews got a good shot at him, tipped him feet overhead, but they did get a first.
Jesse Miles seeing quite a bit of action today.
This man, he can take a hit, I think, about as well as any real good quarterback I've seen, and he has taken some shots throughout this season. That was just one of them.
First down at midfield, and it's Wilhite to the 45. While we have an opportunity, I'd like to thank our spotters, Al King and Ron Talpers, our statisticians, Ray Friedman and Ross Schneiderman, and our scorers, Tom Murray and Jim McLeod. Thank you all. Second down and 4 at the 43, and this is not a happy bunch on the near side of the field. The Denver Broncos on the way to making it 6 straight wins against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland has not won here since 1972. Wilhite. Clarence Scott on the tackle. Clock running down. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left.
It's third down. 4 yards.
So third down and 4 coming up. Denver will be home next week for the Baltimore Colts, and they'll finish the season at Kansas City. And they'll go into next week with a record of 8 up and 6 down. Very much in the battle. The 2-minute warning. And we'll be back here at Mile High right after we pause for these words and another one of those fantastic finishes.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1970, Tom Dempsey will try to do the impossible, kick a 63-yard field goal. Joe Scarpati gets the ball down. Dempsey caught it solid, and it's good. Tom Dempsey has just kicked a 63-yard field goal. With no time left on the clock, the Saints beat the Lions 19-17.
The recyclable aluminum can is a product of the same Alcoa research and development that produced exotic new aerospace alloys, engineered satellite receivers for your roof, ceramic substrates for advanced computers, and high-strength aluminum for a new generation of cars and planes. And soon, a new recyclable can to protect your food as well as your beverages.
Well, there will not be a fantastic finish here with 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Broncos with a 27-6 lead. They broke it open with 21 points in the second quarter. The 2 John Elway bombs to Clint Sampson. Another touchdown run in from short range by Sammy Winder, set up by an interception. And John Elway has had himself a magnificent day. Again, the completion to Miles. Jesse Miles inside the 20.
That's the sort of play, Marv, that happens when you're confident about what you're doing, and you also understand more about the offense. Earlier in the season, when John went back to throw a ball, he'd have his attention riveted downfield. Now, he knows he's got somebody to his outside. He comes off when he doesn't find a receiver. He picks up the ball. A big gain, but you credit those gains to the quarterback by not giving away where he's going with the ball until he releases it.
And a 25-yard pickup on that pass play. What a pleasant week this one will be for John Elway.
What it gives, it's not so important for Elway. The whole city of Denver has a little something to be enthusiastic about. They can look forward to winning their next 2 ball games and getting in this thing, and they've got a little something to go with now.
All right, first down at the 18, and it's Miles again, reaching out to the 15-yard line. I say pleasant week because of all the controversy, all the heat directed in toward Elway, which was understandable.
Yeah, well, it's understandable to some. It's not to me. I don't agree with it. I think you can stand up and say he wasn't playing as well as you'd like to have him, but I think there were reasons for that. We see a Cleveland Brown injured right now, and that is never a good sign.
I just got a sporty truck priced like some base trucks. The Mazda V2000 SE5. Look, it comes standard with a 5-speed overdrive, steel-belted radials and spoker wheels, sporty stripes, a step bumper, even dual sport mirrors. Pretty sporty for just $59.95.
Sakes alive, sakes alive. Only Mazda's got a sporty truck for just $59.95.
Sakes alive.
Hey, guys, I'm back.
Catch anything, Riley?
Yeah, caught this granddaddy of a fish. But when I got him in the boat, he says, I'll give you 3 wishes if you throw me back.
A talking fish.
And it's halftime spectacular. All this without ever changing your dial. January 2nd on NBC Sports.
Reggie Camp, the 3rd-round draft pick out of University of California, shaken up on that last play, but looks to be all right. And it'll be a 2nd down and 7. Down at the 15. Well, the Broncos will be 8-6 in just a couple of minutes. Seattle appears to be on its way to a loss to the Dallas Cowboys. So Denver looking back now, 1 game in front of Seattle in the wild card playoff chase, and in a scramble with several other clubs.
I think to make a prediction at this point in the year, even though there are only 2 games left, is a little silly because the way it's been going, somebody puts themselves in and another out every week.
2nd down and 7. Minute 35 remaining 4th quarter, and here's Miles again. Beautiful change of direction and refused to go down. 9-yard pickup. Jesse Miles coming into today, it carried only twice for 13 yards, and he's had himself a 4th quarter.
Well, what happens when a ball game gets out of hand, and the Broncos have not had any ball games out of hand. Let's see, there's Edgar Kaiser. You'll see him smiling in a bit. He's very happy, very supportive, loves the game. He's always stays down on the sideline, and you know what you might find out? I know he's happy that he sees a guy like Jesse Miles get a chance to play. They need a fellow that can run with the ball and get him the good, tough yards. It looks right now like they may have a prospect.
And Edgar Kaiser, the chairman of the board of the Denver Broncos, after putting out that kind of money for John Elway, particularly enjoys what he has seen here today.
I'll tell you what, he parted with his best suit. He's got some of that.
It'll be a 1st and goal down at the 7. See the clock moving. We approach a minute left. Second back, Winder. Touchdown. That's a new one.
What was that act?
That looked rehearsed.
We haven't had a chance to see all the moves that the Denver Bronco backs use because they haven't been in there very much. But today they're changing the act.
Well, Gerald Wilhite was reluctant 2 weeks ago, coming back from the hamstring, to do the usual Wilhite flip.
We have a flag there?
Yeah, looks like it. So hold everything on that 7-yard run by Winder. They're bringing it back out to the 15. A holding call.
Number 64.
So the hold against the Broncos. Billy Bryan, the center, is called for the hold.
It is so often that when they are called for a hold, they don't know the difference because you can block with your arms extended now, and I don't think offensive linemen ever really think they're holding.
So 1st and goal. They've marked it back at the 16, and now the Broncos not looking to run up the score.
They're looking to get out of town. They've got to win, and they love it.
Clock down to 40 seconds. And the clock is running. So John Elway, with his best day as a professional, 2 touchdown passes, 1 for 49, 1 for 39 to rookie Clint Sampson, a 3rd-round pick out of San Diego State. A couple of field goals by Rich Karlis, 1 from 50 yards away. The Brown offense not able to do a thing. A field goal by Matt Bahr from 47, and a club record 58-yard field goal by Steve Cox. And that has been the story as the Browns drop to a record of 8-6. And the Denver Broncos extend to a record of 8 up and 6 down. This is Marv Albert along with John Brody from Mile High in Denver. After these words, we'll be switching to the Jets and the Colts at Baltimore. So long, everybody.